This is the cornea. It protects the eye and bends light to provide focus. This is the pupil. It's the small adjustable opening that the light passes through. Then this is the iris. It's the colored muscle that dilates or constricts in response to light intensity. Then this is the lens. It focuses incoming light rays and projects them onto the retina. The eye's lens changes and bends to focus near or far objects on the retina. Then this is the retina, the thin inner surface of the back of the eyeball that triggers nerve impulses. This is the fovea. It's the small depression in the retina where visual activity is highest. These are the rods. They're photoreceptors that enable black and white vision. Then these are the cones, which are photoreceptors that detect fine detail and color. Then these are the bipolar cells. They're cells that connect and transmit info from the eye's photoreceptor cells. Then these are the ganglion cells. They receive info from bipolar cells and transmit it to the brain. This is the optic nerve. It contains bundled axons of ganglion cells that hook the retina to the brain. Then this is the thalamus. Sensory info goes to the thalamus where it's then routed to the appropriate area of the cortex. This is the optic chiasm. This is the point in the brain where the optic nerve fibers from each eye cross over each other. This is the visual cortex. It's the part of the cerebral cortex involved in vision. Then this is the occipital lobe. It processes and responds to visual stimuli. And then the feature detectors are cortical neurons that respond to specific features of the stimulus. And then the blind spot is the point at which the optic nerve leaves the eye, creating a blind spot. And then the trichromatic theory is the theory that the retina contains 3 different color receptors, which when all are stimulated can produce the perception of any color. And the opponent process theory is the theory that opposing retinal processes enable color vision.
The pinna is the visible part of the outer ear. It's responsible for collecting sound and directing it to the outer ear canal. The auditory canal is a tube that runs from the outer ear to the middle ear. It conducts sound to the tympanic membrane or the eardrum. Eardrum is a thin membrane that vibrates when sound waves reach it. The hammer is a small bone that passes vibrations from the eardrum to the anvil. The anvil is another small bone that passes the vibrations from the hammer to the stirrup, and the stirrup is the smallest bone in the human body that passes vibrations through the cochlea.
This is the basilar membrane. It's the area within the cochlea where hair cells are located. Then the hair cells are finger-like projections on the basilar membrane that stimulate activity of the auditory nerve. This is the auditory nerve. It's one of the parts of the vestibulocochlear nerve. This is the thalamus. It processes all sensory information and sends it to the appropriate area of the cortex. This is the auditory cortex. It's part of the temporal lobe that processes auditory information. Then this is the temporal lobe, which is involved in high auditory processes. And then this is the Eustachian tube, which is a tube that connects the middle ear to the back of the nose, and it equalizes the pressure between the middle ear and the air outside. Then this is the semicircular canal, which fluid fills these tubes in the inner ear that provide information about movement of the head.